Hi, crafty friends. This is Amanda. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Michigan. And if you can believe it, this is my 30th video. I'm very, very proud of myself and very excited. If this is at least your second video that you're watching of mine, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe. It makes my day. 80% of you guys that are watching are not subscribed, and I'd really appreciate you guys hitting that subscribe bell. I think I have some fun things in store that you'll enjoy. If you guys have some suggestions on how I can do better, what you'd like to see differently, please leave a comment section below. All right, let's get into this. Today, all I had was an inspiration of rainbows and a Valentine's Day card. I wanted to do a slimline card, a 5x7, and an A2 size card. So I have three very white blank canvases looking back at me. And I also have a piece of scrap paper. I know I want to ink blend, and that's about exactly what I started off with. Some colors that I didn't even know what colors I wanted to use, blending brushes, and white pieces of paper. Yep. All right, I'm going to add in my Coastal Cabana here, and a little bit later I'm going to add in my Bermuda Bay. I don't know what yellows. Like I said, I was just, I knew I wanted to do something fun. I have been out of the craft room for about 3 days. I've not been feeling very well. I actually broke my toe. Not broke it. Sprained my toe, my big toe, and I wanted to not hurt anymore, so I stayed in bed. And I was feeling kind of yucky. So, but that's okay. I was up yesterday and I wanted to play, and I played most of the day for probably 8 hours, and that got me out of bed and into the craft room, and that's always a good thing. Instead of starting to the left like I normally would a rainbow, I decided to start in the middle, which is a little bit wonky, but hey, it worked for this period of time. My very favorite combo is when orange and pink get together. I don't actually like coral. I don't like Calypso coral. That's not my go-to color. But I love it when orange and pink go together. And actually, I love when orange and light pink and dark pink are just kind of like mingled in there together. But I wouldn't call myself a coral person. Does that make sense? Maybe a really, really pinky coral, like a flirty flamingo. All right. So I really wanted to keep the yellow and the green, which was crushed curry or daffodil and granny apple green, to a minimum because I didn't think they really belonged on my Valentine's Day rainbow. So I kept those to a minimum. And then I really thought to myself, this was a large piece of paper, but I go back over it, and how I do blending is I normally start with one color, go to the next color, and then go back to the first color and blend. And this time I did that, plus go back one other time to the end and just blend those colors together to make them pretty. This is a scrap piece of paper. I knew I wanted to do some die cuts of some rainbows, and I chose the prettiest colors that I liked for a rainbow. I chose gorgeous green. Sorry, gorgeous grape. That's funny. Gorgeous green. Gorgeous grape, Bermuda Bay, and I used Magenta Madness because that looks gorgeous as a pink, don't you think? I realized that my slimline card was way too big. It was 11 by 3.5 instead of 8.5 by 3.5. So whoops-a-daisies. To stall, I decided to add some splatters because at this point I still wasn't sure what I was going to do. So I had some splatters to a white piece of paper, which always works. It helped a little bit, and then I added some splatters to my rainbow slimline card. Still didn't know what I was going to do with my slimline card, so I'm like, well, we'll go back to this blank piece of paper, this scrap piece of paper, and do some die cuts of some hearts. And I'm using the Lots of Hearts bundle. And here it goes, and aren't they beautiful? Now, the problem with these hearts are they all have outline, shadow, borders. What do I want to say? Outlines. And so I had to figure out a way to put both of those on because I didn't like the hearts without the frames. That's what they're called, frames. So I knew I wanted to pop them up. So I just took the larger dimensionals, put them on the heart, making sure that I covered the frame and the heart, and then cut where needed. I could have used the baby dimensionals, but then it really wouldn't have stuck to the frame and the heart. So I just did some cutting of the dimensionals. It worked pretty well. I'm pretty happy with my card. I'm going from middle left to upper right in a cascade of hearts in rainbow order, pretty much. Skip the green because, like I said, I really didn't want the green, but I did get a little of the Bermuda Bay in there, a little bit. It's kind of overshadowed by the Pacific Point, I think, or maybe just the purple and the Bermuda Bay. Yeah. Now, this purple one that I just put on needs to be a little bit further down. Just a little bit. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. How do you start a card that you don't know what you're going to do with? Do you guys look on Pinterest? Do you find something that you know you want to do? Or do you just sit down and see what comes to you? Checking to see if there's any other colors that I can grab here. And I decided to grab that pink and orange together. Like I said, it is my favorite. It really is. And then I'll just add this last little heart and do some fixing of that purple one up there because I messed with it. Oh, well, should never mess with it. But I wanted it down just a tiny bit. And I think it's done. No, I really have to mess with it some more, guys. Sorry about that. But I'd love to know how you start a card that you don't know where it's going to go. How do you get your inspiration? Now, you'll see me tapping my fingers a little bit. It's a little bit of the fact that my daughter gave me a drink from Dunkin' Donuts that had like 14 espressos in it and something called Bounce or Extra or something that has 20% more caffeine in it. Let me tell you, I was loving that caffeine. So I tried 2 different fonts here. If you guys have different die fonts, die alpha stamps, alpha fonts, alpha dies, hooray! Alpha dies in your collection. Do you guys have a favorite or do you just go between the 2 of them? I thought it needed a little bit more scripty love. And then I used the strips, the foam adhesive strips. I didn't want to cut them out with the foam adhesive sheets. I rarely use those, even though I have them. I'm just going to go in here with the black or a dark gray. Dark black, I'm not sure which one. And add that to the foam, and it worked really well. Now, I think I want to do a love you. I'm going to play around here for a few minutes trying to find a good you. I looked out of this Pretty Perennials. And then I'm like, ooh, this one has a really pretty you. And thank you. And it's nice and large. So I tried on some color cardstock, or some blended cardstock, I should say. Yeah, I realized after I tried to stamp it several times strategically, I just needed to put the tape over it and be done. And then I tried it on white to see if I'd like it next to the love. And I scrapped that idea. Added some Magenta Madness with a 1/8 inch edging border to my panel, except at the bottom, then I had to cut that off. I was in a very particular mood today, or I would have just left it normally. And then added my basic black, and I think it pops, and I'm really happy with this card. Let me know what you think. I do add some rhinestones and some Wink of Stella. I really speeded this up. Like I said, I played for 8 hours, and I went through 2 different memory cards, and I sped it up to about, 60? 600. Yes, 600. Maybe 500. I sped it up 5 times the amount. I'm going to add some color inside. I don't know that I want it white. I think I might want to use a white gel pen. All right. And here I have no idea what I'm going to do. I try love you. I think, well, if I want to send it to a friend, it should be love ya. Y-A. Try different font. And you can see I'm going to struggle with this card for a while. And I like the love you always or love you always. I'll just take out those dots if I choose to use it, which, spoiler alert, I don't. I really wish this Y and A would have looked better together. I might have actually used it. Love ya. When I'm talking to my friends, I always say love ya. I think love you is reserved for my husband and my children, of course. So as you can see, I'm just playing around and not knowing what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm going to do at this point, and I have a very pretty colored background. Let me know what you guys would do in the background, or what you would do to finish us off this card. And I put this A there for a placement for an I, because I didn't want to go search for an I. And then I'm like, all right, I better search for an I. And then I heart you, always. And I'm going to flip it. I heart you. And I didn't like that. Always again, see? Maybe it was the always is the problem. So you know what I did? I left it. I put it to the side and I'm like, we'll do that tomorrow. Or the next day, or the day after. I have no idea what I'm going to do with that card, but I will try to use it. I have 3 more. Okay, I have a few more cards that I want to do with the hearts, and then I'm done. I promise. I know I've been using this for a while. 2 videos. 1 video? 2 videos of hearts. But I really, really, really am going to be done in 2 more videos. I promise. I just want to get Valentine's Day out of the way. I hope you don't mind. And this is the Valentine set that I chose to buy and use because I like this one out of all of them. I am going to do some splatters, not because I wanted to waste time, but because I knew I didn't want it on the inside and I was going to do a peek-through card. Maybe I'm saying that wrong, but I knew I wanted to do on this card. After playing for a while, I really liked the heart that I did on the inside of a card that I did on my last video or the video before that. So I knew I wanted to make a rainbow heart on the inside where you could see it from the outside of the card. Hopefully that makes sense. So what I did was I started out by cutting the die shape through the top of the card only, the front of the card, sorry. And I did a top folding card, a note card. I'm not never, but I really don't. This is not my go-to size. And I actually recut it because I thought, I'll do something a little bit different today. Instead of just a regular standard size A2 card, which I never do. But this is going to be a thank you card. And that's the only time I ever do a thank you card, an A2 size card is a thank you card. But anyways, what I did was I started with the die cut. And then I used my stamp apparatus to place where my heart would go, opened up my card, as you can see, and began stamping. I don't do a very good job. The Bermuda Bay and this little dauber hated me today. I know it's juicy because it worked just fine. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's not juicy because I use so much ink on my ink blending. Maybe I need to rejuicify it or ink, add my re-inker to it. But as you can see, it hated me. I did like the pink and the purple that went together. So it's not going to be a rainbow. It's going to be pink and purple, Bermuda Bay, and then purple. I know, it just happened that way. I'm going to try to add some more Magenta Madness to this to get some more pink in there. I think it looks okay. I mean, it's not a stripe. It's okay. What I did want to do was add some of the shimmery, not embossing powder, embossing paste over it. But the second I touched the paste to the ink, no matter if I dried it or if I put Versamark over it, it smeared right away. And I didn't want to smear. I didn't want to play with smear today. So I chose to leave the shimmery white away. I also chose not to do Winkacell because, again, that would bleed and make a huge mess. If you chose to do this with oxides, distressed oxides, I think you could do the embossing paste if you got it dry enough first, the embossing or the ink. Now, I found this set in this Ornate Thanks that says from the bottom of my heart. I love it, and I love this set now that I got it. All I saw was the dies, and I'm like, I don't like it. But I didn't actually look at the words and the sentiments and the script. I really like this Ornate Thanks. I just bought this. I don't know where I was. Not looking properly through my catalog, apparently, because this is a great stamp set. Has some wonderful sentiments for a thank you card, and it has beautiful handwritten text script. I like the thanks, the bold thanks, thank you, and grateful enough. I like that enough because it could be could be for masculine cards. Or you could dress it up like I do in Magenta Madness, and there's no way that that's going to be for it could be for a masculine card. My son loves pink. I don't get it, but he's in love with pink as well. Yes, he's 20, still loves pink, so maybe it's just a generational thing. I'm going to add my thanks here in Magenta Madness, and I'll be done with this card. So I have 2 cards instead of 3 for you today. I'd really love to know what you would do with that slimline card. I think I know what I want to do. See? Just talking about it. Let me know what you guys would do in the comment section below. I'll let you know how it comes out. Probably tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to take a rest from sitting all day long. Play with my puppies today. All of them were in my bed. They're all sleeping. Moon's snoring. It's kind of funny. Hopefully you don't hear her in the background. All right, these are my 2 cards today. Not 3, but my 2 cards. I'll have that other card for you tomorrow or the next day. I got an idea now. Thanks, guys. You're the best creative people I know. I really appreciate you watching. I hope you like this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It would make my day. If you guys have any comments that are negative, I'd appreciate even negative comments. Anything that I could change. Thanks again.